that need to be made to change Locke from the school it used to be to the school that it's becoming now.
We were talking a little bit before we went on air, Dawn, about the different things that you do at your school. Run down the list for us one more time.
Well, currently right now, just at the small school, I am a grade level leader. I am a union rep, so I go to union meetings and represent my members as the union rep. I am on the SAC committee, which helps govern the school and makes decisions and helps the principal guide her decisions when it comes to budget. And that's just the three things that I do at this
Aside from
time.
teaching
Besides teaching
all day.
campus.
What grade do you teach?
I teach 9th grade math support.
Math support. Math support.
Math support for Casey. So we're a 2-year Casey school. We do a 2-year plan for 9th graders.
Paul, what do you do at your school besides teach?
I'm a math teacher as well. I was on the design team for our school. So last year I worked with a team of 6 other teachers. We got our school approved through Public School Choice 2.0. And we calculated we spent around 3,000 hours unpaid in that whole design and and implementation process before opening. And at my school this year, I'm on, similar to Dawn, I'm on the school's governing council. I serve as our testing coordinator for the school, fill in when the counselor is out for a few days, and help get kids scheduled into their classes. It kind of, whatever needs to happen that day, almost every teacher is in the same role that I am in the school of taking on additional work, and it sometimes almost feels very natural. It's just the job requires it, and people step up to the work. And unfortunately put in a lot of extra hours and a lot of unpaid hours in order to make sure that we're running our school smoothly.
Yeah, somebody asked me, like, how did you just add on another thing to your list? And I was like, because somebody has to do it. Like, I recognize we have new staff people, we have young staff people who are in school. I recognize the fact that I have the experience that's needed to be in this role. And if that requires me to be here a couple more hours, it's going to be that requirement because I want this school to be successful. So I respond with that comment. Like, I'm waiting for you guys to get ready to step up so that I can go on and do some other things. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting.
Are you building capacity and training
Yes,
too?
I'm trying my best to just to get people involved in conversations and get people involved in understanding the contract and just make them more aware of what's really going on within our school and within our organization as a whole.
So what I hear you both saying is that the new teacher role, especially for a group of teachers that decides to take advantage of this new agreement and form their own school, it's almost like the job description is blown up now. You no longer are just a teacher and you have to come in being prepared to, is it sustainable? Is it sustainable to work people that hard? I mean, I work that hard
with
too.
With support. Like, I have a great leader.
Okay.
I have a great leader. I have to admit, my school has a great leader. She builds and supports for us. It's been a rough year. It's been a rough time. But we learn how to work out the kinks, and we learn from our mistakes, and we learn from our successes. But it takes a great leader, and I'm lucky. I have 2 great leaders, I should say, who run the school effectively, who look for teacher input, and who know when their staff is tired. And built into our staff development is activities that help us relax, I should say. So I have a good leader, and she has a leader that's helped model her to get prepared for this position. So it takes support, though. That support from her. I can text her at 2 o'clock in the morning when I wake up from a nap saying, I have an idea for attendance incentives. It just dawned upon me. And instantly she responds, like, what are you doing up? But that's just the type of leader I have. So I think it takes, like, having people there at the school sites, the principals and the admin, who are going to be willing to listen to their teachers and respect the input that comes from their teachers, and respect their teachers are the ones who, like them, are in the classroom now, who see hands-on experience with the issues, the success, the problems, and what paths can be taken to improve those problems. And your leaders have to trust your staff and let them
and vice
try
versa.
some things. Yes.
I think to answer this question of sustainability, if we think about what's happening in some of our struggling schools right now, is that a lot of teachers feel disenfranchised and disempowered. And I've worked in schools where I've felt that way, and it's not a satisfying job experience. That is inherently unsustainable. If you go to work every day dissatisfied with what you're doing and feeling that what you're doing doesn't have an effect on improving conditions for teaching and learning in your school, then teachers are going to burn out. And we see that in our district today, and we've seen that for many years. We can hope for better, or we can actually do something better. And what I've seen in my own experience in my school, and what I hope that this new contract will open up, is to create a door that says we can do it differently, And the most important thing is that we're asking the people who do the most work in the school building, do all the teaching, the people who make up the majority of staff in our schools, the teachers, asking them what could we do that would be better, and saying how can we do that better, and saying we have to come to agreement. The voting thresholds in the new contract, or the supermajority, I think it's 60 or 66%, have to approve the changes in the contract. And so it really is this question of, do we want to do this? Do we want to hold ourselves accountable to this new standard? And is it worth doing? And if everybody says yes, we go forward.
It may take us in a different direction with this thought. But like when I first read the contract, I was, as a charter school person, I was like offended that he was going to take charter school out the choice for public school choice. But as a school reformer, somebody who's into school reform, I see the need for the change. It hurts because it's like, well, I won't have another opportunity if I switch to another school that needs help. But hopefully this contract will make it where our schools are starting to do that reform for themselves, and there is no need for a charter to come in and take over a school. But at first, I was kind of offended by that. It's like, wow, I'm doing such hard work at this turnaround school, and you're saying, no, we're not going to allow that to happen. But I respect why, and I understand why, because those teachers now have the opportunity to reform their schools from the inside out.
If that's what they deep down, if they truly choose to do.
Yes, I hope they truly choose to do it.
So let's talk about the flip side for a second. Don, you're a unionized charter. Paul, you're a UTLA member, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so am I. And I work with a lot of teachers that have a lot of seniority. And at my school site, not every teacher necessarily chose to be in the teacher group that they're in or in the small school that they're in. So how do we explain the benefits of the tentative agreement to that hardcore union member who's going to dig in his or her heels and say, no, this is an attack against the union?
I think that we often assume that the archetypal hardcore union member is opposed to the extra work. But what I really think that that a strong union member stands for is really that the contract is sacred, and that the contract needs to define the working conditions. And I think that the power of this this new agreement is that, yes, we may be asking people to do more, and considering our current budget environment, we may be asking them to do more with no additional pay. However, the question is who's asking them. And the who's asking them is their peers, not their supervisors. And that's a critical difference. I sat on a design team with 6 other teachers, 7 of us on our design team for Los Angeles River School last year. And we asked a lot of ourselves in that design process, and we asked a lot of ourselves as educators in our building. Yet the question of who's asking you for this it came from me. It came from each person asked of him or herself to make that school a reality. And I hope that path, that choice, is open to more and more teachers. And so, how would I respond to a strong union member who's concerned about these the extra work and duties? Is to read it carefully that this is a choice, and it's a choice that everybody gets to make with their colleagues at their school site.
I think a lot of our changes have been driven by data. Like Green Dot is a very data-driven organization, so I would present a question in data like, are you being successful at what you're doing in your role right now? Our data was showing that we need to work on, not only graduating kids for college, but graduating kids prepared for college. So just like looking at the data, what does your data show you that you're doing, and how are you impacting change, and how are you impacting student achievement in your own school? And it's a hard question to look at. Like, yes, we're happy with the way things are, the status quo, we're happy. I'm 10 years in, I'm happy with where I'm at. But are you happy going to work every day? Do you like the school environment that you're going into each day? Is there something that you see that could be done differently to make the school environment better for students, parents, and teachers? It can't be about just, I'm hardline, this is the way things are. It's about change, and going through change is hard. Taking on change is difficult, and teachers are afraid of it. But like, once you see the bigger picture, like, this is a chance for this opportunity for this school to become what you thought it could have been 5 years ago, when you still had that push and that energy that you may have lost a little bit, but deep down in your heart you still have. And once you look at that, go deep down and find that bigger picture within you, the change will come easier to them.
You know, I think that change question, that fear of change, is actually something that needs to be addressed by the district, by the union, by us as educators, because change is scary, and a lot of educators have a difficult time. I had a difficult time. I knew I wanted to be on the go to this new school, yet it was frightening to go for the first day. And what's it going to be like? And my metaphor is, it's like breaking up a big school into small schools is like slicing up the beehive, and all the worker bees get really angry when you do that. And even though the end result might be better, there's a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. And I think this is where, over the next few years, the district and the union need to make very clear what are some great examples, what are some models of what's working, what are places where when we change the contract we see better data, that we start to see that the payoff, the extra work that the schools and the teachers and the administrators are going to be putting in, doing